Our next innovator is WorldMate. Please welcome its CEO, Nadav Gur.
Switch to audio. Okay, so first of all, I hope you liked WorldMate Max, and if you want to watch any more of these escapades, come to our website, worldmatelive.com. So as I'm sure you've all understood by now, we're in the business of making mobile a viable channel for real-time travel decisions. Now, this is a huge challenge. How do we take all of this information that goes into travel planning, real-time travel decision-making, and mobilize it meaningfully? The secret, ladies and gentlemen, is in these three concepts: context, content, and action. Context, as in knowing what it is that is going on around the traveler, and in order to know what he needs. Content, as in being able to provide him the information that he needs on time, complete, and accurate. And action, as in enabling him to take action immediately using his mobile device. To do this, we go through the following steps. First, we complete your travel itinerary. We build a full travel itinerary that includes both all the bookings you have made as well as your meetings, because only together they constitute the full travel plan. Secondly, we provide that information to you both on your phone and on your mobile, because sometimes you're moving and you need it on your phone, and sometimes you're in your hotel room or in your office, and this is a better way to access it. Then we track your trip. We serve as your guardian angel, pushing information to you about things that you need to know about. And later, we allow you to take immediate actions. Let's start with this web application, which is really sort of a travel planner. You can see it has constructed my full travel itinerary, including both my flights, hotel stays, car rentals, as well as my meetings, which we got automatically off the device's calendar or off Outlook. This information is synchronized over the air with the mobile device. So this is our WorldMate Live application on my BlackBerry. And as you can see, this, you can think of it again as sort of a travel calendar. It's organized like a calendar, but each item is a travel item. So if it's a flight, for instance, it has flight-related information like airports, gates, e-ticket numbers, and so on. And I can do relevant real-time actions like check the real-time flight status. In this case, this is a trip that I'm taking to Atlanta in a couple of days, so obviously the flight is still 2 days out, and it's still on time. Let's see how well they do when I'm actually going there. Let's look at another item, for instance. If we look at my hotel, then hotel-related information, address, phone number, and so on. And again, real-time actions that I can take. For instance, I can click through directly to maps and directions. The reason I can do it so easily and quickly is because when we first created the itinerary, we geocoded all the addresses that went in. And in fact, if any of the addresses was wrong, I would have known it prior to the trip. I would have seen it here, that I would have had an icon here saying, we can't show you that on a map because the address is incorrect. So far what we have is we have this travel itinerary synchronized on the mobile device, on the web, wherever a change gets made, whether it's somebody rebooking something for you or some bookings have changed, whether it's your PA or whether you've made the change directly on your mobile device, the system is synchronized such that you always have access to the full information and you can share it with your friends, colleagues, and so on. But we don't stop there, because the idea is once we have this information is not to wait till you request it, but to preempt your need. So a couple days before you embark on a trip, we start monitoring your trip, and we start informing you about things you need to know. Now this will start a day before the trip. Your device will ring and say, okay, you're going to Atlanta tomorrow. Your flight leaves LAX at 4, so be there on time. This is the weather in Atlanta, so you'll know what to pack. This behavior continues throughout the trip. So a few hours before my flight, the system will start tracking the flight. And if indeed the flight's on time, it will remind me to go to the airport and tell me which terminal I need to get to and so on. After I leave on my flight, I land there, I get to my destination, I get the welcome message telling me where I got to, what the local time is, of course assisting me with setting up the clock, and then briefing me as to when my next meeting is, local weather, and of course I can drill down to get much additional information. Now this type of push behavior is most useful when something bad happens. For instance, as for WorldMate Max, what happens if my flight is delayed or canceled? So first of all, again, my device will buzz me and tell me, hey, your flight was canceled. Now, you might say, well, my airline already sends me a text message or an email informing you of that. Ladies and gentlemen, when your flight is canceled, it's not news. It's something you want to act on. So with a couple more clicks, what I can do now is check alternative flights. What other flights are there that can take me to my destination? And what the system is doing now is it's pulling up schedules for alternative flights for the same route, same time, same day. Of course, direct flights, connected flights, the lot, so that I can drill down, find the flight I want, and then, depending on the situation, decide whether to go to the ticket counter to rebook myself or book otherwise. And of course, mobile flight booking and generally reaccommodation is something that is coming to the platform real soon. Now, this type of behavior is relevant not just to flights, it's relevant to a lot of other arrangements, because people tend to push their ground services and wait with them and do them book them at the very last second. Now, for instance, take a look at my trip here. As you can see, I have this flight here to Atlanta that takes me there just before midnight. And the story is that I actually booked a red-eye flight, and then I moved it a little earlier, but I forgot to book a hotel. Well, when the system informs me of the trip, it actually finds this out for me. So if you look here at the bottom, it's actually suggesting I book a hotel, and it's suggesting it near Atlanta Airport, near ATL. Why? Because it figured out, well, if you're going to be there around midnight, you're not going to want to drive around town. You're actually going to stay near the airport. Now, because the system knows exactly where I'm going, and because the system knows who I am, it has my profile, it knows where I like to stay, the brand preferences, budget preferences, and so on, it was able to pull up available hotels in the vicinity of the airport according to my brand preferences and my budget preferences. So I can immediately decide to book a hotel, and the great thing about this is that although we have the full Hotels.com inventory, the first few lines here, or the first few hotels here, are going to be relevant because they were picked according to where my meetings are and my preferences. And of course, I can go in and complete the transaction on the mobile device. Now, the point is really this. We have your information. Instead of you trying to fill up forms on a mobile device with a limited keyboard and such, you will immediately be able to do this. Now, one last thing I want to show, as we have a little more time, is something we're announcing here today. What we just added to the system is the ability to connect directly to the device's location, GPS, and it will now
WorldMate. Thank you.